Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ plus brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, February 17th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBT community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ non-media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fête in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television, news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBT broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Raul Griffith. I'm so excited for him. Okay. Sorry, let me get myself in character. All right. So Raul was one of the original cast members of It's Happening Out right here on the Happening Out Television Network. He has years of experience producing events for some of the greatest parties in Florida, and he is the current reigning Mr. Continental 2025, pa que lo sepa. He is also one of the owners of Urge Miami. Raul, I'm so excited that you're here. You have no idea. I have been a super fan of yours for like ever.
Thank you so much.
You and your husband are hot.
We get that often.
I'd like to video you guys and just use that for my own personal use. But anyway, aside from that, Raul, you're an icon for me, okay? I have followed you for years. You are Athena Dion's mom, dad, and everything all in between. When she is ever asked about how she got to where she's at, you're the first name that comes out of her mouth. You know, your excellence is so apparent. Okay, and it supersedes you. Okay, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt, but you know what you know, and you do it so eloquently. And I was telling the boys that you were coming on the show and telling them about how you produce these incredible events that we all like live and die for. You know, Urge is celebrating dance. Okay, and you know, it's called Time Space with DJ Ann Louise and David Nazar on February 22nd. Let's talk about that and the other exciting events coming up for Urge, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you for all that smoke. It was great.
Thank you. I've got more.
Good.
I've got more. Pa que lo sepa.
Well, thank you. Urge is having a great transition into a new era. And this weekend on Saturday, we have international DJ right from Brazil, Ann Louise, who is an incredible DJ. She's one of the favorites in the world and has top charts into in the circuit music industry. We also have David Nassar, who's a local, and of course
Love
a
David.
favorite. Yes, a favorite among the crowd. We have a great venue right in the heart of downtown Miami, and it's new. We actually did our last event about 2 weeks ago in that space, and people just loved it. So we are super excited to be able to host Time and Space with Anne Louise and David Nassar this Saturday there.
And what's it called? Under One Sun? What's the name of the party? It's called Dance.
It's called Dance.
And then?
Time and Space is the theme
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so time and space, like what? Like space, like
Like
out
time
there,
and
like
space and out there aliens and kind of like that. You know, we try to always have some kind of theme into the parties so that, you know, they become something different.
Yes.
You know, the music hits different when you have some type of theme going on in your head.
yeah. Well, and you know, boys, right? We love a theme, right? You give us a theme, I'm gonna dress up like the the sexy, like the the sexy alien or something like that, right?
It allows you to, you know, play with your fantasy.
Yes, and that's what it's all
Or take it
about.
to a different direction they didn't think about.
Or maybe, I mean, you know how heavy the world is right now,
Yes.
Raul? You know what I mean? Especially in our community. Like, yes, we have to advocate. Yes, we have to fight. But we also have to have a good time.
Absolutely. And that's what we are characterized for as a community. You know, we protest, we fight, but we also celebrate each other and dance and smile in the midst of it all. So that's important, you know, and that's something that Urge this year is trying to create. Last year, we didn't have any parties, you know, just the holidays and things like that. But this year, we are making it a point to have a celebration every month for our community because it is important.
No, and now more than ever, we have to. You know, another icon in our community is Hilton Woolman.
Absolutely.
I mean, that man is just like, whoa, you know. How has it been? We even did the stories from this table when it was announced that you would be taking over.
Yes.
How has that transition gone? I mean, those are big shoes to fill, okay?
Huge.
You have big feet.
I mean, I think the process was great because I've been working with Hilton for many, many years, and Louis and Billy with Urge in the terms of production, you know, so knowing where they're coming from, knowing their ideas and their vision, you know, helped a lot into me taking over and kind of having that smooth transition into elevating Urge a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Hilton deserves all the praise. I mean, Hilton not only is, like you said, he's a great influence and an icon in our community just because he has allowed so many spaces, and so many opportunities, opened the doors for so many people to be able to excel in what we do today.
And he's still a nice guy. Like, he doesn't have to be nice. Do you understand? Like, those people that are just so elevated in this community that he can be a DIC if he wanted to be to someone, you know? You know, but like, he's not, you know?
Right.
Let's talk about Winter Party. Okay, so Winter Party's coming up as well, right? Boys, have you been to Winter Party? Okay.
No. Yeah.
Larry. We gotta burst your bubble.
We have to take you.
We gotta burst your cherry.
Okay.
There is nothing like Winter Party. Okay, especially the Sunday beach party. When you are on South Beach on the sand with what 5,000, 10,000 people. Like, I don't know how many people are there.
I wish it was 10,000.
Oh my God! But
it's up there. We're about 3,000 to 4,000 people.
Okay, I mean, it's packed, okay, wall to wall, and they bring only the best DJs for that as well. Last year, I enjoyed Dan Slater so much. I love that man.
Yes.
Oh, and without a shirt, oh, God, no puedo. Anyway, so how long does it take to put something like that together? Like, Winter Party is a couple of days. How long does it take to produce something like that?
Winter Party is a couple of days. It takes months. You know, it takes months, and it takes a lot of people. And the great thing about the task force, which is the organization that produces Winter Party Festival, is that it's based on volunteers, you know, and it's a nonprofit. We're based on volunteer work, and it is admirable the amount of work and amount of effort that the community itself puts into making Winter Party Festival, you know, a great experience.
Yeah.
Winter Party Festival, it's old. You know, it's about 20.
It's a couple decades old. Yeah.
More than 25 years.
Okay.
So it was one of the first, the original music festivals that we had for the LGBT community in the world.
Wow.
So it's highly attended. I mean, I still have, well, I don't have them, but, I still encounter people from, you know, 20 years ago from London and all parts of Europe and Italy that still come religiously to Winter Party Festival. So it really is a celebration of who we are. I mean, if you have not been, you have to go and experience it, because it is completely, it's not just the music and the celebration and the fun. It's the people, you know, and how they feel when they're there.
Yeah.
So it's a great experience.
Well, and like Raul said, the people, like every year I've gone, I've met people from Australia, from Switzerland, from and I'm like, what? And you're here? And like you said, and it's not their first time, you know? And it all really culminates with the people who put it together, like Raul said, right? The National LGBTQ Task Force, a lot of them are out of New York, and they come down here for that. And, you know, and then they've
Washington.
And then they've got all their people down here, Kathy Renna, and all those people come down, you know? And every year it gets bigger and bigger.
Every year gets bigger and bigger, just because of community effort, honestly. You know, and all of that work and all of that fundraiser, all those funds get thrown back right into where it's needed. So, for example, one of the benefactors, the beneficiaries of Winter Party Festival is Brightlines, which is their youth organization.
Yes,
you know, and
we love Edward Summers. Yes.
And you know, I'm a second generation South Florida Pride Line, you know.
You were a Pride Line's kid?
Second generation.
Oh my God, how did you, that's
I was
awesome.
actually
when Victor Diaz was there.
No, way
before him. Wow.
Yeah, let's not talk about time. Let's not talk about years.
He looks much younger than he is, obviously, right?
Too many years, yes, because then we start getting into something that we don't want to spend some time on that. But yeah, way before, you know, South Florida, when Pride Lines was established in South Florida, many years ago, the first year. The first few years was run by two lesbians. It was a couple. I can't remember their names right now, but we had a very small space right off Biscayne and somewhere in downtown, where the temple is. I don't remember exactly where, but it was a very small little house, and it got packed every Wednesday that we used to gather. And we, you know, Josh Santiago was able to be on the board the following year and create the youth, Pride Lines Youth Gay Prom. And I'm their second gay prom queen. Can you believe that?
Oh, another pageant that you've stolen, that you said, give me that crown, this is mine.
I started early. So from Pride Lines, you know, as a teenager, I saw Winter Party Festival, I saw the task force and volunteering there, and I wanted to, you know, first volunteer at Winter Party because I was too young to be able to do that. And when I did that, then I wanted to be part of the gala. Then I wanted to be able to afford to go to the gala. Then I wanted to afford to buy a table. And I wanted to be, you know, then be able to sponsor, you know, be a table captain. And eventually I wanted to be the producer, and here I am. So that whole entire story of how, you know, a seed gets planted, you know, by an organization, about a dream, about something that we do as a community, and how they can inspire and make a life for somebody. I'm a testament of that. So that's
a beautiful thing.
That's beautiful that, you know, that's the passion that drives me to be able to stand behind that entire production and say, how do you feel? Well, this is beyond ourselves.
Wow. So in essence, Pride Lines kind of planted the seed for you to be the huge advocate that you are now, but also to get your feet wet into pageantry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because
Right?
I love competition.
Well, you like to kick people's butt. That's what it is.
That too. I like to see them suffer for a little bit. Yeah. Pageantry. Well, back in the day, you know, here we go with the time.
Come on, stop it. Back in the day, it's important.
Back in the day, you know, pageantry was one of the only outlets for entertainers from the LGBTQ community in general to be recognized and known, you know, and we knew out of videos and VHS and this pageant and that pageant who the legends that are now and the icons that are now, who they were, how we got to meet them, you know, and it was through pageantry. We didn't have any other outlets. So yeah, pageantry plays a big role in not only in the community, but in myself.
May I mention Vegas Dion?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so Vegas Dion, so this beautiful man right here is his drag persona is Vegas Dion, who is the iconic inspiration of so many of your favorite queens that you love and adore right now, right? And so he has not been in, he hasn't brought us Vegas Dion in over 10 years, approximately about 13 years, something like that.
Almost.
So I heard a rumor right? I was hanging out with a bunch of Miss Florida FI queens, and somebody said that for the 25th anniversary or for the 20th anniversary or something like that, that you were coming back as Vegas Dion.
Really?
Or Miss Florida. And Miss Florida's right around the corner.
That's very
right,
interesting.
Allison? Right, Allison? Right, Scott? Right, Gary? I mean, so, Miss Florida's right on. Is that a rumor? Is that true? Can you,
Well, I mean, I'm just finding out about it. So but I do want to know who these queens are.
Come on. Is it a possibility, though? Tell me. Because me, as a little fangirl, would be like beside myself to know that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's I've learned a thing that it's important to bring joy, and those are joyful times for some people, and that's a joyful character for a lot of people, and if maybe, maybe we can attach a fundraiser to it or something like that.
Right? Listen,
if we can get money out of it or something, that we can all benefit from, then maybe I'll put out some money.
Listen, the incredible production mind of this man. Do you hear him? He's like, wait a minute. How can we make money for an organization? Espérate, wait a minute. You got something there,
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, but again, so you've been in pageantry since you were a kid, since the Pride Lines Day. You won a bunch of crowns as Vegas Dion. You are Mr. Continental as yourself. How has that helped you with running these events? With running these events, I love our community, but our community has a lot of interesting personalities.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it could be like wrangling feral cats. Like, does that help you? Does that diligence and just, everything that it takes to be in a pageant, does that help you with this part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do believe
that's the word I was looking for, discipline.
Discipline, and I think that has to do with character, but it does groom everyone that is in pageantry, Pageantry has a way of grooming you, not just for entertainment, but it creates, like you said, discipline. It does create organization, it creates commitment, and it also, teaches you how to learn and how to handle your defeats, when they're not necessarily
That's
victories.
huge, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we all deal with that on an everyday
Right.
basis.
What is your take on, on your experiences and how you handle them? Pageantry does a lot for you. And it is a great thing. How has it helped me, and how does it help me? I mean, it groomed me, but at the same time, we do have great people in our community that we look up to, that are able to, tell you you're not necessarily doing this right, or giving you advice and guiding you, like the old queens and
well, because you will blow up the spot of someone on Facebook. I've seen you after a pageant go, you lost because you lost.
well, now
Right? And I'll be like, oh.
a reality check, sometimes we need, especially nowadays, we gotta fact check a lot of things nowadays.
Right.
So, pageantry, we do that in pageantry as well.
I got you. And tonight you will be emceeing Miss Noche Latina.
At the Miss Noche Latina. I'm the second Miss Noche Latina, and I'm also a former Mr. Noche Latina.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm the only one that has won both divisions.
Wow. Can you imagine that? Maybe for his next coming out, you do like the half and half, right? Or like the half.
We did that one time for a cover of a magazine here.
Nice.
I love that, Raul. Oh my God, I love having you at the table. Is there anything else that you think our viewers should know about any future events that you'll be collaborating with?
Yes, well, Arch Festival that is happening Thanksgiving weekend, which is the most important thing for us right now on my table, other than Winter Party Festival. Arch is it's so special because it's a South Florida baby. It was born with the vision and the idea to cater to our locals, and it started just as one party, and now it's a renowned worldwide festival, and South Florida is its destination, and we can remember those days with Hilton Woolman and Billy Camp and Luis Morera and Abel Aguilera.
Oh my God.
And, that started with the whole vision of, creating something huge, and it's here.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to announce that on March 1st, we're releasing, the passes and the tickets for the festival this year. And, there's a lot of great surprises, and we're changing a lot of things and we're allowing a lot of diversity and inclusion to be the focus of this year's festival.
Wow.
So it is important for us to not only take up space, but only have a huge, loud noise in the state and in our country. So that's our focus this year. So
Well, thank you for taking up so much space, and thank you for making that space for others as well, you know? And it's Urge. It's during Thanksgiving when a lot of us have to deal with our family, and we need an outlet after that, and Urge is here to give it to you while partying your life away, and you might meet the next man of your dreams.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Or fantasy.
Or fantasy, right?
Or nightmare.
Or nightmare. Or the reason your credit goes bad. You never know. You never know. But definitely get your tickets for Urge. They will be released March 1st, and get your VIP passes, okay? Because they do sell out. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Urge Miami Dance Time Space at the District Ballroom on February 22nd. And get your tickets at urgemiami.com. Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade, float design, production, and casting. He's also a board member of the West Side Association. Larry, the Andrews Avenue Improvement Project public meeting is tomorrow. Tell us about it.
Yes, Faye. I'm kind of excited about it because I've been involved with the West Side Association Wilton Manors for over 2 years as a volunteer board member. And right now we have been interfacing with the commissioners and the mayor and the town planning and zoning board to try to attract the right businesses. And this meeting tomorrow, the project is to help build Andrews Avenue and improve the infrastructure. So to make it a complete streets where people can be pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists on a street right now that's pretty much you have to watch out for your life if you cross the street. Andrews Avenue, Powerline Road.
Was someone struck recently?
Yes.
Right there on Powerline.
Yes. And, you look at how, for anyone familiar with Wilton Drive, how that's transformed over the years. I remember coming to Wilton Drive probably over 20, 25 years ago as a tourist before living here, and how much it's very livable, walkable.
It was just Alibi back then.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. And
not a hold. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah, at least Dairy Queen is still there.
Yes.
But seriously, so this is really marrying this, and it's important to our community because it's an extension of the drive. Everybody thinks of Wilton Manors, they think of Wilton Drive. This is, going to be led by the county in partnership with the state because of the nature of the roads and who they're owned by. But as a city, we're partnering to bring this all together. So this is an important meeting. It'll be interactive. The public will have a chance to make public statements, give their input. But this is something that I've always dreamed about. I used to think I was a weird little, I was a gay kid, but a weird little kid, and I'd fantasize about planning things, and I'd draw on paper and draw little towns and have things. And here I am doing this, and it's a great volunteer opportunity. But the credit where credit's due is this is hopefully going to make Andrews another district that all visitors, whether you're LGBTQ, you're an ally, people can come and enjoy Andrews Avenue. It'll bring some culture, diversity, hopefully some entertainment, and extend our community. And,
and that sounds awesome.
Absolutely. So the meeting starts tomorrow at 5:30 at Town Hall. I encourage all of you to be there. And, again, even if you're not a resident of Wilton Manors, it's important if you care about, the future of our city to do that, especially during these times.
Oh, 100%. Listen, I don't live in Wilton Manors, but I spend all my money there.
I know.
Okay? So that's why it's important to me, And people who are always on Facebook saying, oh, there's a crack on the sidewalk, or you can't cross the street, or they put this planter here. Stop the BS, okay? Go to a meeting like this and let your voice be heard instead of putting it on social media and trying to make somebody look bad who's actually just trying to do their job.
And people need to stop trashing where they live.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
They really do, because Wilton Manor has become the #1 LGBTQ destination in Florida. Mm-hmm. So, stop trashing it.
Yeah. And again, it's at the Hagen Park Community Center right behind Town Hall and the police department. And you can check out for more information at wiltonmanors.gov or what's happening on the drive.
Fantastic.
Hope to see many of you there.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Andrews Avenue Improvement Project public meeting tomorrow. Let's welcome Edward Otto Zielke. From a successful career in financial marketing to his current role as the Director of Marketing and Sponsorship for the world-famous Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Edward's journey is marked by so many accolades and achievements, and it's only a 1-hour show. So I won't tell you all of them, but there's a list of them. You can send me an email if you want to know. So the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is one of the largest and most important LGBTQ plus cultural arts organizations. Edward, the Gay Men's Chorus is performing Unbroken Voices, Songs for Justice and Redemption on February 27th. What can you tell us about it?
Yes, Unbroken Voices, Songs for Justice and Redemption is going to be Thursday, February 27th at Sunshine Cathedral at 8 p.m. It's an unforgettable evening of powerful music and community connection presented by us. Our sponsors for the evening are Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Hollywood, the Westin, Funding Arts Broward, and Hotspots Happening Out. We couldn't do it without them. Thank you so much. We do have a piece in it called The 7 Last Words of the Unarmed that's going to be performed there too. It's basically pays tribute to some of the lives that were lost to gun violence. It speaks to a lot of African American men that were gunned down in the 2010s. There's 7 movements, and there's going to be tributes to Kenneth Chamberlain, Trayvon Martin, Amadou Diallo, Michael Brown, Oscar Grant, John Crawford, and Eric Gardner.
Say their names, baby. Say their names.
This is a very important piece. It's an emotional piece, too. So, we'll have a little bit of spoken word after the presentation, and then we'll do the chorus will sing some uplifting pieces just to close out the night. But we feel that this is something that, is timely, and that, we definitely want to bring the message out there to the community as well.
Well, like I told you, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, it's still Black History Month, okay? Yeah. Even though our Google Calendar doesn't freaking say it, all right? It still is and will always be Black History Month. Aside from the fact that we should be celebrating Black history all year long instead of just in February, let's go there, right? But if we're subjected to just celebrate it right now, we've got to do it louder and prouder than ever, right? It don't matter. You don't have to be Black. Okay, you have to go support. That's what you have to do.
That's what makes our community so great, is that we'll take it upon ourselves to put the spotlight on the African community or whatever it is that we're celebrating, because LGBTQ plus goes across all of those spectrums. So, we all have kind of feel what it likes to be marginalized or our voices not heard. So
sure.
This concert will definitely speak to that and, give some thought around that.
Thank you. Thank you, Edward, for doing this. And thank you to the Gay Men's Chorus. It's important. Okay. So folks,
it is.
This is February 27th. Okay. There's only one day left of Black History Month after that. All right. If you haven't done at least 3 events for Black History Month, shame on you. All right. And make sure you donate to a Black organization. Okay.
And go to gmcsf.org to buy your ticket.
There you go. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Unbroken Voices, Songs for Justice and Redemption on February 27th. Next up, let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's Vaughn Biggs. Vaughn is a trailblazing advocate for health equity and HIV treatment. As community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, he leads initiatives for the LGBTQ plus community and people living with HIV. His roles as vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council and founding board member of Trans Ed underscore his dedication to inclusivity and systemic change. Vaughn, the Live Well Health Fair is coming to Hagen Park in Wilton Manors. Tell us about it.
That's right, Faye. Join us at the Hagen Park Community Center and Pavilion for the Live Well Now Health and Wellness Fest on March 1st, starting at 12 p.m. Discover new ways to improve physical and mental well-being through interactive workshops, classes, and wellness vendors available on site for screenings will be available for cervical, colorectal cancer, mammograms, prostate cancer checks. Plus, we're also offering vaccines. So those COVID vaccines, we're still kind of in flu season. We're leaving flu season, but we've got the flu shot available. Hepatitis C vaccines. We no longer do Mpox. It's not available, but COVID. So be sure to get those updated. We also provide HIV and STI tests, and find out more and register at sunserve.org/wellness.
Wow.
It's Holy Cross is here once again. I mean, we want to continue to show, we're at 25 years being in Wilton Manors, and we want to continue to show our presence. So we're going to be everywhere we can be.
Well, and can I tell you that I love this collaboration with SunServe?
Right.
You know, my brother is
Exactly.
ED over there, and it means the world to me when two of my favorite people
Yes.
come together and get to work together. I know that, you know, Tony Lima has always thought that, you know, healthcare for all, and it should be available for everyone, you know, and how important it is to know your status. So your event seems like it's going to be like super important. So
It's a matter of bringing things together that one organization can be strong in and another one's strong in another, and we just collaborate with one another. We serve everybody.
That's the key to success.
Right? Is to serve everyone and to collaborate, right? You know, unfortunately, a lot of times nonprofits are like, no, more for me, or you're taking away mine. You know, the reality is abundance is everywhere, okay? If you are limiting yourself by thinking this is all there is, you're going to take mine.
That's right.
You know, so when two incredible organizations like SunServe and Holy Cross get together, it's perfection.
I'm ready.
So Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Live Well Now Health and Wellness Fest on March 1st.
And of course, let's welcome our lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspot's Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. FayWhat. The closing ceremony for the Black Art Awakening exhibit is on February 27th. What is this event about?
I will tell you what this event is about, Larry, once you say FayWhat correctly. Go.
FayWhat?
All right, there it is. All right. So the Black Art Awakening exhibit closing reception is taking place on February 27th, starting at 7 p.m. The exhibit commemorated Black History Month and National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. Okay, so the event is being held at the Pride Center at Equality Park and is presented by the Ujima Men's Collective, along with the Legacy Builders, Trans Inclusive Group, and the World AIDS Museum and Education Center. For more information, you can go to ujimamen.net. See you then.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Black Art Awakening exhibit closing reception on February 27th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. Protests erupt as National Park Service redefines Stonewall as LGB and not LGBTQ. Within hours of taking his oaths of office, President Donald Trump issued an executive order requiring U.S. government offices to stop recognizing transgender identities. The order states, quote, "It is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and intraversible reality," end quote. After the issuing of these executive orders, many government websites, including the U.S. Health Department, removed mention of transgender people from their websites. This erasure of transgender identities upsets many in the LGBTQ plus community, and tensions reached a peak when on Thursday, February 13th, the National Park Service followed suit and removed the T and Q from LGBTQ on the page for the Stonewall National Monument. The monument pays tribute to the Stonewall Uprising, one of the most important events in the queer rights movement, and an event that was led in large part by transgender and gender nonconforming individuals. As recently as Wednesday, the page for the Stonewall Monument on the National Park's website read, quote, "Before the 1960s, almost everything about living openly as a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer person was illegal," end quote. Now, it states something different. Now it says, quote, "Before the 1960s, almost everything about living openly as a lesbian, gay, or bisexual person was illegal." The Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1969 is a milestone in the quest for the LGB civil rights and provided momentum for a movement, end quote. Protests marked the weekend in New York's Greenwich Village, and Stonewall and NPS signs were vandalized. You know, this is another way that they're trying to erase our transgender and nonconforming siblings, and it makes me sick. Like, it makes me want to puke, okay? We were taught Stonewall is our Civil War. Stonewall is our 9/11. Stonewall was what kicked it off. We wouldn't have pride if it wasn't for Stonewall. And maybe you weren't there and you don't know your freaking history, but the first shot glass or the first brick, depending on who you ask, was thrown by a transgender person, okay? Okay, you know, it's Marsha P. Johnson. Okay, she was there. Sylvia Rivero, she was there. Okay, and they were transgender folks. So the fact that they just do it like that seamlessly. We're just going to erase this little marking on this. I mean, on the Stonewall Monument. to eliminate the T and the Q is just blasphemy. It's disgusting. It's a slap in the face to any person that considers themselves LGBTQ plus. Boys,
I'll tell you
Raul.
this. You know, it's the same thing. Let's look at World War II. There was so much lost there, and so much history, monuments, and writings, and books, and so much.
True.
The one thing that we hold dear is that history. We know what happened, and we uphold it that way. That's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Anybody can say and do whatever they choose to do. It is our responsibility to uphold the truth. And it is our moment to stand by our brothers and our sisters and to make sure that if you don't know a part of history, you know it.
Yeah.
Because no one can erase your own history.
No one. No one.
They can think. Anybody can think and say that you don't exist, but your truth is different. And we have to have a voice loud enough to be able to say the truth.
I know that, Raul, but a lot of us are tired.
And we're going to be tired.
You know what I mean? And we're going to have that fatigue, right? And we've got to like wake up from that fatigue or let somebody else take the wheel while we're resting or vice versa and get this word out, because I wasn't around in 1968, right? So an elder had to tell me the story, right?
Right.
And those stories have to continue to be passed down, like Raul says. They erased us from freaking everywhere. We know we still exist, and we know that history still happened, right? Larry?
Yeah, I mean, this affects me in so many different ways. I remember coming out in the mid-'80s as a very young person and going to the site that was shown there at National Park Service across from Stonewall in the Village. And I remember feeling really excited. You know, I used to go to, before the internet, live groups where people met, something that you mentioned in your piece, Raul, where, you know, people were mentored. So I had people from the Mattachine Society, both men and women, who are my mentors. And they were like historic heroes.
Right.
I mean, just regular people. One guy was a corporate lawyer. Another person was an educator. And maybe what we need to do is get our community motivated, no matter what generation you're from, but take the opportunity. I know some people are going to flip out when I say this, but at events and bars and things, take a moment to talk about it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be the highlight of the thing where it becomes a lecture, but bring some reality to the moment. And I'm glad you brought that up in your piece earlier. You know, some of the greatest things, I look back, I have friends now who were one of the first gay couples I ever met. They're coming down to go to South Beach in March, and I know them for over, almost 40 years. And they're like pillars, but they were an example to me of what, you know, because I thought, you know, I had the stereotype when I was coming out, and that's what made it hard coming out, because I said, no, I want to be settled down, and I want a house with a white picket fence. And society at that time was saying, no, people like you don't have that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's important.
It is very important.
You know, Ujima Men's, right? If you've never heard of them, definitely look them up. What they've been doing for the last couple of years is taking stories from older Black queer folks.
Yes.
Okay, and videoing them, filming them to put together something, right? Exceptional. We've got to do that with our older LGBTQ people.
We have to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
We have to have accountability. Someone told me when I was very young and I started hosting on the microphone, you know, at the clubs and places. And I used to make jokes and things, and somebody came to me and told me, you know, you have a huge responsibility. That's a privilege to be able to communicate to masses of people. And there's a big difference when somebody just talks and nobody listens, but when somebody speaks and you know that they listen, it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
So we have to hold each other accountable, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. Whatever was given to you, whether it was history, whether it was love, whether it was support, anything, it isn't for you to keep. It is something you must give back.
I love that.
And that's extremely what's important in our community right now.
Yeah.
Even if as a young person right now watching, you have to hold yourself accountable. If I don't know about where I come from, if I don't know what went through these people, what they went through to be able for me to be able to enjoy the life that I have today, you have to make sure that you are accountable for knowing that history
love
and
that.
for protecting it.
No, it's true, especially like these young boys that are married, right? How do you think you were able to get married?
Absolutely.
Because people had to fight.
Yes,
Vaughn, what do you think?
Well, I might flip the script a little
Please,
bit. here.
you always do,
Yeah,
baby.
I know, right? But, I'm thinking back, okay, when they started tearing down all the monuments, right? All the Confederate monuments, all of us were happy, right, that this was happening, and we're seeing the reverse of that. That's what with them erasing us. But that monument is not us. We're the monument.
Right.
We're the ones that live this.
Yeah.
So we're the ones, as you said, responsible for continuing to tell this. A monument doesn't tell the story.
Absolutely.
We do. So
that.
let them do what they want to do with a monument. We're the ones that are still going to be here.
Do you
That's
agree,
what I
Edward?
wanna see.
I to an extent, and I'm so grateful for, when I was growing up, there were, I was interested in the drag culture and pageantry, as we were talking about it. And, when I saw documentaries like Paris is Burning and the one before it in the 60s, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it introduced me to kind of like a different lifestyle from that was something that was resonating in me, but I felt that was also included into my world too. So, I went and figured out my own, path because it wasn't being taught to me because I grew up in a conservative Republican family. So I had to take the knowledge that I had and go and find it, and go through the resources and stuff. So it's important for us to capture these moments, whether it's on film or on the stage in art, whatever it is, and to really push out our voices this way, because that's the only way we're going to tell our stories creatively, as well as, in history too. They can't erase us, they could take it out for a time being, a couple of letters, but the pendulum swings the other way, and we're just going to put it right back in there because you know what, they're already talking stuff about extinction burst, so that's going to be something that is going to be very interesting to
For sure. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBT story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up politics. TikToker explains why MAGA will end in an extinction burst. An extinction burst is defined as, quote, the expected and temporary escalations in the frequency, duration, and/or intensity of a maladaptive target behavior, end quote. In layman's terms, it is a tantrum thrown by those who are told their behavior is not acceptable. TikTok user at Oh That's Rich recently posted a video explaining how that concept applies to modern U.S. conservatives. He lays it out in the history of the current extinction burst that started with the election of President Obama and explains why conservatives continue to rage even though they've won full control of the U.S. government.
God, they know, and they know they can't stop it. I've known this was coming for 10 years, but until now, I didn't realize there was a name for it. It's the thing that makes us say, is it just me, or are there more crazies than ever before? The Trump spike in racism, sexism, and hate, it's the emotional foundation for the entire Make America Great Again movement. That nostalgia for when life in America was simpler and paler. But as soon as we began addressing it, boom. Extinction burst. This term is why I love science so much. You can take an idea from one field, like psychology, for example, and apply it to another field, like political science, and the principles still apply. Extinction burst is actually really simple. It's when you have a behavior and a reward, and you withdraw the reward in order to change the behavior. When you do that, usually to change an undesirable behavior, the behavior itself increases in frequency and intensity for a short period of time, till ultimately the subject changes the behavior, and then that behavior goes extinct. This is like you're at the store and you're swiping your credit card and it doesn't work, and so then you swipe your credit card like 15 more times until you're so angry you're freaking out and you're about to scream an F-bomb in the middle of Toys R Us, and then you say, I'll just pay with cash. Swiping is the behavior and the payment is the reward. So when the swiping doesn't work and you don't get the reward you need, you get madder and madder and you try it more and more until you change the behavior, which then results in the extinction of the original behavior. Now, extinction burst at the national level is much slower, but in this case, we actually know very clearly what triggered it. It was Obama's election in 2008. Sarah Palin, the Tea Party movement, the birther movement, and ultimately MAGA. It is a 10-year tsunami of rage in the face of inevitable extinction. This is why Republicans are still so angry. They know They know Trump winning can't stop it, and they know Trump in office can't stop it. They can feel the inevitable extinction of their own terrible beliefs. At this point, the only thing that'll stop it is if we let up. If you stop interfering with that undesirable behavior, it will go back to normal. So no, you're not crazy. Yes, you are doing the right thing, and yes, if you persevere, the extinction burst will end.
Well, that was well said. I did some research before this story, and I'm sure our reporters here have a lot to say about it. But one of the examples was, the rat that gets fed the pellets to modify its behavior. And when they push a little bar, and once the pellets stop, they go crazy and they're just banging it. Or a little kid who doesn't get the candy as a reward and they start having temper tantrums. And I'm glad that this is coming out. And, maybe we need to use this phrase in our society, in our community, and encourage others who are marginalized to use this, because it's a scary evolution of behavior.
Yeah, but I appreciated his explanation.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, I walk around and I'm like, are we in upside down world? Like, how the hell did we go back to the 50s? Like, I'm going to have to ask Raul to co-sign so I can get a checking account soon. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we've gone backwards. And I feel, and I'm like, I can't be, I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. You know what I mean? But this really makes sense. The tantrum is there, and they've been pissed since Obama. That's a long time to be pissed off.
Right. It's such good insight, to really, because that was a very pivotal presidential, win. We were seeing a first African-American president, walking into the office that went against the total norms of what we were experiencing before. And that change was possible at the highest level. In fact, even the vice president was a female, you know. So, we've been breaking glass ceilings. So that got to be a little too much for that group. So, there's a definition called insanity, which means if you keep repeating the same behaviors over and over again, expecting different results, you're going to be pretty sad, in the end. So, I take it, trying to educate people that may not agree with, the way I see things in the world, in political science and those type of things. Those are the type of behaviors that I just kind of say, you know what? I'm just not going to change that frame of mind. I got to do something else that might maybe change their mind, and that may be through something, artistically or whatever it is, you just have to speak it in a different language. So this resonates with me, this story.
Absolutely.
I just want to go to the bathroom with my trans sister and not be messed with. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and that seemed to be like the beginning of the rage from my seat was like, all we wanted was just privileges, and they just felt it was just too much. I don't know.
Many people would say, when they get mad and it's like that, haha moment, now you're mad again. But you had a phrase, a scary evolution of behavior. And it's very dangerous what's happening, because we're not just dealing with a tantrum. It's human lives here at stake. And it is a very dangerous, because we don't know the limit that each other has. So how well will it end? Or how will it end? And that's the dangerous part.
And it's scary, like you said, especially now when we're allowing people to be racist right in front of everybody, como nada. Like before, back in the day, you hid that.
But
you know what I mean? Like
Meryl Streep, during her acceptance speech, don't even know one of these words. And she mentioned something, when the highest position of office has this type of behavior, it automatically allows everyone else to act the same.
That's right.
So it is very important who we're looking up to and who we're choosing to be in these seats. Because it allows disrespect,
Yes, exactly. So Democrats, get your job in motion. Let's go. Find me somebody. All right. You have 2 years. Okay. Do it. Stop rolling over and giving the Republicans your belly like my dog does every day. Just my own personal note. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Edward Otto Zielke, and let's queer up entertainment. SNL Breathtaking 50th anniversary pokes fun of its problematic gay history. The 50th anniversary special for Saturday Night Live brought back some of the most memorable cast and members and skits from its 939 episode history. Since the first episode in October of 1975, SNL has made much fun of pretty much everyone. In a special segment hosted by Tom Hanks, the show called out some of its more problematic skits. In his opening monologue for the skit, he said, quote, "As we celebrate the achievements of the past 50 years, we must also take a moment to honor those we've lost. Countless members of the SNL family taken from us too soon." I'm speaking, of course, about SNL characters and sketches that have aged horribly. But even through these characters, accents and let's just call them ethnic wigs were unquestionably in poor taste. You laughed at all of them. He went over racist skits like Rob Schneider in Brownface from his Mexican stereotype skits, as well as skits like sexualization of underage character Hermione from Harry Potter as played by Lindsay Lohan. They also featured the gay panic skit of Chris Kattan as Gay Hitler. Of course, gay fans loved a special skit featuring the viral character Domingo, a suave Latin man who has repeatedly appeared in skits where he seduces character Kelsey and leaves her husband Matt bewildered. At a vow renewal for Kelsey and Matt, Domingo crashes the party with his two hunky brothers played by Pedro Pascal and Bad Bunny. In a twist, it turns out that Ronaldo, played by Pascal, is actually Matt's ex-lover, a revelation that sent the internet into a frenzy. I just love these type of stories. This SNL has always been somebody that's a program that's always kind of pushed the barrier a little bit. And you know, when you're on that long for 50 years, you know, and in a comic show, you know, you see the evolution of comedy. And you know, back then, 50 years ago, things that were funny are very inappropriate today. You know, you look at even TV shows, you know, some of the storylines are just very cringeworthy. And, you know, I look at myself when I first, and the things that I thought were funny back then, and I cringe at some of the things that I used to laugh at too. So, you know, kudos for them to point that out, because, you know, you could easily gloss over it and say that didn't happen or that was in a different time frame and stuff. But, you know, they kind of put it forefront for that way that they acknowledge the fact that it's something that it's evolved from them in terms of comedy. But I'm just very happy that it's a great skit and it's all in good fun for the most part.
I love that they're having a bunch of the it's 50 years of SNL, so they have a bunch of documentaries and stuff like that on streaming, which are always interesting to watch. But it reminds me, like you said, of things that maybe were funny back then and they're not. You know, my wife was watching All in the Family the other day, and I was like, oh my God, what? They put that on TV? Like, holy crap, you know. Wow. But you know, us gays are always going to be the butt of the joke, right? And how funny is that? Ha ha, homo, great. You know, laugh about that. You know, I will mention a parody that really I took note of over the years was Pat. I don't know if you ever heard about Pat.
Yes.
So Pat, you know, you didn't know if they were a she or a he. They were a non-binary character, but they were never acknowledged as a non-binary character. So I personally thought it was very derogatory towards gender non-conforming folks and non-binary people, you know, but it was a very popular skit. It was very popular. You know, Julia Sweeney got many attacks, you know, from our community for playing that role. And something that she had said in a very recent interview was that now she has met with 10 trans comedy writers to bring the role back.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Okay, that's a different swing. All right, you want to make me laugh with some of the shit you used 10 years ago in a better way and still include me? I'm in. Right. And be, you know, not rude to our community, you know, all about it. I mean, you know, that's 50 years.
Right.
You know, so
I think it's a great thing, you know, and sometimes we can be so uptight about certain things, you know, like there's who is it coming from? You know, what is the joke intended to and whatever not, you know. I feel
brown face, Raul.
Yeah, but wait. But you laughed at it.
I did.
Well, you know, what we're laughing at sometimes is the absurdity of it. You know,
Yes.
when you referenced All in the Family, you take a character like Archie Bunker who will just say just about anything. I had an aunt like that growing up too. So I know exactly when you just speak whatever it is that's on your mind, and it could be racist and whatever it is that you're saying, and they're just in the moment, and you find that so funny. But you know, you as you get older, you evolve, and you realize, you know, people have feelings and people come from different places, and not everybody's going to find that funny, and that's not everybody's story. So, you know, and that comes from becoming a human and having more of a heart as you get older.
So you got to find that balance. Like Raul said, you can't not take it personally, but also respect the craft, right? Respect the comedy, respect that they for 50 years have been trying to make all different kinds of people laugh. It's got to not be the easiest thing.
And also don't give so much importance to certain things that do not deserve it. You know, if a joke, sometimes we make famous certain things that do not deserve to be famous. You know, just because certain things don't deserve our attention.
All that attention.
You know.
Although you think about, I mean, I think about this time frame because unfortunately I'm from that time frame. But anyway, think of cartoons.
Yes.
Think of Bugs Bunny. Think of the racism that was
awful.
Oh my God! Yes. As a child, that we lived through,
and Bugs Bunny we even did drag. Anyway,
and
all of them did.
All of them,
and kissed people.
And we lived through that, and that was entertainment.
Son and Barney Rubble. I mean, come on.
We all knew Betty and Wilma were together.
Well, okay. My point.
So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Vaughn Biggs, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Historic LGBTQ partnership as POW, Warten Foundation, and Wilton Manors brings free plays to the park. For over 60 years, theater icon Joe Papp's Public Theater in New York City has operated on the principles that theater is an essential cultural force, that art and culture belong to everyone. Plays of Wilton founder and artistic director Ronnie Larson has partnered with the City of Wilton Manors and the Warten Foundation to bring that mission to South Florida. The initiative will begin with a public showing of, quote, a funny thing happened on the way to the forum on the first 2 weekends of March. Larson said, quote, Wilton Manors is like no other city on earth, with amazing public parks and venues just waiting for live theatrical productions. This partnership with the City of Wilton Manors and Warten Foundation is a dream team, and we can't wait to get started, end quote. Larson plans to offer a variety of theatrical productions in venues throughout the City of Wilton Manors. More information can be found at powinthepark.com. You know, I think one of the great things, and I think about the plays and everything they've done in New York City, and that is the education component behind it. This is an opportunity that they can have to build workshops, plans for new people wanting to come in to be actors, you know, in the community. It'd be a great opportunity to do that in the parks. And why not Wilton Manors? We've got plenty of space for that.
Yeah, and I love their name, POW. It reminds me of like that old Batman stuff. POW, swing, you know. And needless to say, Ronnie Larson is a freaking genius. I don't know where the hell he gets it. I don't know. I would love to know what he dreams about at night, because the guy is wow, you know. So, you know, this is so incredible. Thank you to the Warten family and all of this for making this possible. Ronnie Larson was given a check for $100,000 to make this happen.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Okay, me and Raul can be hired if you need us.
Absolutely.
You know, but this is incredible, and we love theater. We're gays, you know what I mean? Like, we love live performance. Like, that is what we like. That's in our blood, you know. So to give us this for 2 weekends back to back at a Wilton Park, hell yeah, I'm in.
It's so wonderful to have outdoor theater here. You know, I mean, that was something that, you know, when I'm from New York, New Jersey area. And so growing up in the theater, you know, you get to experience outdoor theater, and, you know, it's a different, you know, there's no arena, there's really no sound. And but there's something so intimate about it. And just bringing it here for Wilton, for people just for free, just to come and, you know, and see a show that's been on Broadway. And that's a lot of fun. And it's very funny thing happened on the way to the forum. So I'm not surprised Ronnie's doing that. You know, I'm surprised he's not starring starring in it, but
we don't know that yet. It is Ronnie.
Oh, yeah.
We never know. He's got some space to fill. But I mean, what a wonderful date night. Something great to do. It's free. You get to grab the people
I mean,
you
we grew
love.
up with this. This was right now might seem like, oh, what an event, but this was very common.
Right.
We grew up with this. You know, we didn't have anything else to
These
do.
big productions, we didn't have that before,
No.
you know? And it takes me back to like the Roman times, right? Like, isn't that like what they did back in Shakespearean times where they just did everything open air like that, you know?
Of course, when drag started. honey.
When drag started, you know, well, and you know,
That's
and
your
like
voice.
that.
Yes.
And when it comes to outdoor live theater like this, anything can happen. And I know if anybody can make
Right.
sure that nothing does happen, it's Ronnie Larson. All right. So make sure that you look out for all the information on that. You'll definitely see us at one of those parks enjoying the wonderful theater experience. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up drag culture. Seminole Hard Rock, Drag Brunch, and Men of Hard Rock promises to the first of its kind February 23rd. The Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood is hosting an event you won't want to miss this Sunday, February 23rd at 1 p.m. The event will be hosted by the iconic Daisy Dead Pedals and featuring jaw-dropping performances by South Florida's finest, straight from RuPaul's Drag Race, Miyake Iman LePage, Erica Norell, Mia Starr, TP Lords, and Trinity Beat. The event includes a full open bar and lavish buffet and will be followed by a special performance from the Men of Hard Rock in an all-male review. No other show in South Florida offers this level of extravaganza, so don't miss your chance to savor every moment. Eric Eldridge, Seminole Hard Rock Director of Special Events, told Queer News Tonight, quote, "We couldn't be more excited to host our upcoming Hard Rock Drag Brunch. Expect dazzling performances, an all-you-can-eat gourmet buffet, an open bar, and a one-of-a-kind all-male review that only the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Hollywood can produce," end quote. When asked about such a major commitment, he added, quote, "Our support for the LGBTQ plus community isn't just something we believe in, it's a core part of who we are. We prioritize supporting local LGBTQ plus organizations, including the Harvey Milk Foundation, the Pride Center at Equality Park, the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, and many more. We are committed to uplifting these vital communities," end quote. Daisy Dead Pedals talked about the importance of such a major drag event. She said, quote, "I'm so excited to be the host of such a major drag brunch at Seminole Hard Rock. The hotel is known for over-the-top amazingness with every show they bring to life. They're spectacular event spaces, and this show is definitely getting the Hard Rock treatment. They always do it big, but this is absolutely supersizing the drag brunch experience," end quote. Seats are limited. Get ready to eat, drink, and be dazzled by the ultimate Sunday escape. Reserve your spot right now at hardrock.com. Listen, I'm all about a drag brunch. All
And
right.
anything hard rock and man and supersized.
all you can-
please.
All of that. It's
Lavish,
all you can eat.
please.
Lavish. I mean, thinking about it, you sold it right there when you said hard rock.
Yes, absolutely. That's it. You got me there.
they are so smart over there. You know, it's kind of feeling like Vegas over there. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
you're
Yes.
seeing the shows and stuff. It's fantastic. They are such amazing partners. We're so blessed in the course to have them as a partner. It's going on now 9 years working with Seminole Hard Rock as our major sponsor. And they're going to be doing our gala again for the first time this year, hosting it. So it's just going to be so amazing.
Wow.
You know, they really know how, they are so supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. It's such a pleasure working with them.
Yeah.
And just to go into that space where everybody is welcome.
Yeah.
And just to feel safe.
Yeah.
And to feel included. It's wonderful. It's like Disneyland for adults.
And the cast, you know, the cast that, Daisy Dead Pedals, Erica Norell, TP Lords, they have dedicated over 20 years of their life to entertaining South Florida.
Yep.
And, to see them at a place like this, at a moment like this, hosting a show like this, it's remarkable.
It really is remarkable. And again, kudos to Hard Rock, because like when you think of Hard Rock, you think of a straight place, okay? You
Yes,
do,
yes.
So to do things like this with the Gay Men's Chorus, to do this with Diversity Honors, to have a drag brunch. They've never had a drag brunch to this caliber.
Right.
You know what I mean? These entertainers are the top of the top. You have to go to 15 different venues to see all these girls in one place.
Yes.
And
It speaks a lot in terms of like their value for our community, because they could easily take the back seat like most corporate sponsors,
Yes.
and corporations do, like they're just waiting it out, but they're going full force and supporting these type of initiatives. So yeah, so glad they're bringing drag right to the front.
I am heartbroken about it, baby.
Yes. And we
Absolutely.
didn't even mention the male review. So they're also
that's
like,
good.
come on.
They know how to get us.
That makes it
Listen,
famous.
what do my gay boys love? Drag and hot men. Okay, you
Right.
got them both there. You got me with the unlimited buffet. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Lavish.
the party. Lavish, bitch. Lavish, okay? These tickets are limited, so they will sell out. Get your tickets now, all right? That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up travel. The Florida Renaissance Festival brings excitement and fantasy to everyone under the sun. The Florida Renaissance Festival, sponsored by Visit Lauderdale, is currently celebrating its 32nd year of chivalrous nights and tankards of ale, happening every weekend until March 23rd. Quiet Waters Park in Deerfield Beach is transformed each year into the 16th century village of Kemmendale with a different theme each weekend. The medieval town is teeming with costume guests for the long-running celebration that attracts people from near and far. From cannon firings and glass blowing to shopping and mead, there is something for everyone to see and do. Special theme weekends add to the excitement, like this weekend's Peg Legs and Polly's, part of the ship or part of the crew, which invites you to dress as your favorite scalawag or a pirate-themed character. All are welcome, and the Renaissance Festival celebrates diversity. Find out more at ren-fest.com.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ plus and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Raul Griffith, welcome back, boo, Larry Farver, Edward Otto Zielke, and Von Biggs. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night.
Good night.